This is a rare glimpse into an African capital city that few outsiders now get to see. In a country recalibrating its place in the world.
We're in Ouagadougou, the bustling capital city of Burkina Faso, a country famously known for arts, culture, and African revolutionary thought. But in recent years, it's become one of the deadliest places in the world for terrorism. The people here are hoping that under the leadership of their charismatic young president, that they can find sovereignty, security, and freedom from their former colonizer, France.
Burkina Faso has grappled with French control in the decades since independence. The country is now denouncing France and leaning into alternative allies like Russia, led by their young president.
Abat la France! Vive la Russie! Vive le capitaine Ibrahim!
French forces and diplomats have been expelled from Burkina Faso since the 2022 coup that brought President Ibrahim Traoré into power. This rally is organized by Citizen Watch, a vigilante group shielding their president from counter-coups and assassination attempts.
Après Dieu, c'est Ibrahim Traoré.
After God, it's Ibrahim Traoré, she says.
Does everyone here feel the same way?
Est-ce que tout le monde ici est d'accord avec ce qu'elle a dit? Oui! La patrie ou la mort! La patrie ou la mort! Il n'y a pas élection Burkina.
No elections in Burkina. President for life. I have the chance to meet the man himself and interview him under extremely controlled conditions.
We're on our way to interview President Ibrahim Traoré for an exclusive roundtable that's been completely engineered by the Presidential Comms Department. Their cameras, their lights, their footage. And in the meantime, I'm cramming my French because we've been told we won't be allowed a translator as hard as we've tried to get one.
Je pense que vous êtes dans le pays qui prône aujourd'hui la souveraineté.
You are the country that today champions sovereignty, national sovereignty, and total independence. Because as you are no doubt aware, our country was colonized, like many African countries. But today, we are making our voices heard. And so, the struggle for sovereignty and independence is therefore the driving force behind our fight.
This is the man Traoré models himself on, the founding father of modern-day Burkina Faso, iconic revolutionary Thomas Sankara. Sankara led an anti-imperialist movement in the 80s as president.
Monsieur le Président,
and brought in groundbreaking domestic reform. Decades on, Traoré appears to be following in his footsteps by nationalizing key sectors such as gold mining, supported by revolutionary advisors like Luc Damiba.
The first day he take the power, he come here and take the flame of the revolution.
The president moved Sankara's body to be buried here at the site of his assassination, against the wishes of Sankara's surviving family, and launched a nationwide crackdown on dissent as he approached the same age Sankara was when he was killed.
There's a moment you have to be a serious country. When you come, you have a discipline. And this kind of discipline, we don't allow every person to say what he think. He can say that in his private space, but to destabilize the revolution, we don't allow this thing in here.
And is that like, you know, communist China or the Soviet Union? Is that the model?
Yes, why not? We have Cuba, we have Venezuela, we have Iran. We have connect to this kind of country.
In the last year, Traoré has criminalized homosexuality, dissolved political parties and the Electoral Commission, and sent journalists and activists who've spoken critically to the front line of a war against jihadists. A war shrouded in denial and thousands of civilian deaths. What follows is a question on the war that Traoré's team cut from our interview footage that we sourced from the online page of his state broadcaster. Has Russia been effective in helping you fight terrorism?
Alors, il faut que les gens comprennent quelque chose.
It's true that the Russian President Vladimir Putin wished to provide us with all the resources we needed to fight against terrorism, even with soldiers. But I used to say that we are Burkinabe. No one will come and fight on our behalf, and that is non-negotiable principle. So Russia has opened doors for us in terms of equipment. They are ready to sell us whatever weapon we want to buy. This is of a great help. Let me tell you that many European countries refuse to sell us weapons, but not Russia. Secondly, we have been sharing with Russia some expertise in terms of war.
I then asked the president if this approach works, considering that more than 60% of Burkina Faso, a majority of the country, is under jihadist control. He laughs and asks who said that. These are the facts, I say, and they can be found online.
Online, print, online.
En ligne.
En ligne, vérité, le fait.
Ah oui, voilà, c'est ça.
Ah yes, that's exactly it. It's the same people there, the same media, the same government. They are painting Burkina in the bad light. And that's false. But I'm the head of state. Name a town. There are just a few towns I haven't visited yet. I go everywhere and everyone goes everywhere. They are lying.
These verified online videos of jihadist attacks are the only source of credible visual evidence as Traoré's government restricts movement around the country and targets human rights observers. Our own request to travel outside of Ouagadougou was refused. Security analysts and open source investigators estimate that jihadists have a strong presence in around 60% of the country's territory and have verified 1,200 jihadist attacks in Burkina Faso in 2025 that killed over 4,500 people, which includes 3 of the world's deadliest terror attacks of the year, making Burkina Faso the second deadliest place in the world for terrorism in 2025. This map of Burkina Faso with data from expert observers shows an uptick in terrorism from 2019 to 2025, with the darkening shades of brown showing intensifying jihadist attacks since the onset of Traoré's military rule. We traveled to the eastern edges of Ouagadougou to meet a man who fled his hometown in Islamic State territory to the safety of the capital. We were allowed access to him because he comes from Traoré, a town on the border with Niger, part of the country that Traoré admits is rife with terrorists.
Okay, bismillah.
Salam alaikum. Merci beaucoup.
Yeah. He left behind his farmland, arriving here with his family 8 years ago, well before the president came into power.
We lost everything, our livestock, our crops, etc. But we have to survive, to pay for the house, pay for water, feed the children, find medicines when we are sick, take care of the pregnant women. All this is part of our daily challenges.
Did you witness any terror attacks?
With our very own eyes, we saw them killing people, sometimes 30 people shot before you. When you see that, you better run to save your life.
Do you believe what the government is saying?
Yes, we truly believe what they are saying and that things will be okay, with God's help and the collaboration of the people.
After spending some time in Ouagadougou, it's clear that there's a conflicting reality here. There's the cosmopolitan revolution being endorsed by the government, and then there's the raging jihadist insurgency that's affecting people across the country and even in the suburb, in the capital. While this push for outward geopolitical freedom from the West is happening, there's also an internal freedom that's being taken away. People have told us again and again off camera that they can't stray from the approved narrative.
This is the stark reality lived by many in the capital. Mothers, children, and young men rifling through the rubbish for what they need to survive. You won't see these images in the online videos that hail Traoré's success in bringing Burkina Faso out of poverty and despair. All this amid allegations that Russia's advising his government on disinformation campaigns and media manipulation. Is Russia helping you with your image online, I ask?
Why? I don't need that. Africans are already doing it. Many of your people in Europe are already doing it. In America, pretty much everywhere. It used to happen, and even when we were being charged, I had it all shut down. We don't pay for anything anymore.
Why do young people love you so much? I asked President Traoré. The captain rattles off progress made in healthcare, agriculture and infrastructure and then says, it's not me, the person that they love. It's the ideology they love. This love is fueling young people to join volunteer forces. celebrated on national TV as they line up to face the Islamic State and Al-Qaeda-backed jihadists launching attacks across the country. These auxiliary forces are accused of committing atrocities and ethnic violence alongside the military by Human Rights Watch, allegations the government has dismissed as conjecture and unfounded claims. There is no doubt, though, that a nationalist narrative is shaping how young people see the war and driving increasing loyalty for their wartime president.
If we decide to help our president, I think that one day we will get peace in our country.
Are you scared that terrorism could come to Ouagadougou?
Yeah, I can say that I'm scared because if it comes in Ouagadougou, like in others towns or villages, a lot of people will die.
These fears are slowly permeating the arts and culture the country is known for. Burkina Faso is the birthplace of African cinema.
The cinema is very important to me because my first film was shown here.
One of the country's leading directors, Traoré, was shortlisted for an Oscar for her film Sarah, about a young woman kidnapped by jihadists, inspired by a mother she met at a refugee camp.
She walked 5 days in the bush to try to get a refugee camp. 5 days with a bullet with 2 kids. And then for me, that was my hero. She didn't have any, and of course she lost her husband, she lost everybody. But I looked at her and it wasn't really revenge that she was looking at. She was looking at to survive. That was the main thing in her eyes.
As one of the leading filmmakers in the country, you're kind of at this vanguard between Burkinabe cinema and the West. What's it been like for you?
America gave me the tools of what I needed to make film. Africa gave me the story. Africa gave me the body, you know. And I cannot take away those two cultures. I cannot erase what America gave me because they gave it to me. And I embrace my culture today.
Back at the Citizen Watch rally, Western intervention is staunchly rejected. This is an appeal to all Africans, she says. We must free ourselves. After the euphoria of the day ended, a rally organizer was arrested and died in police custody. The government did not respond to our request for comment.
We were packing to leave, but we've just heard that someone we met on the first day has died, so we're rushing out to film.
Their fellow Citizen Watch member was critical of the Minister of Justice online and was declared dead shortly after being arrested.
Parce que nous avons organisé une marche. C'est lui qui parle comme ça.
We were all shocked by the situation because we had organised a demonstration. You can see him in this video. He is the one speaking. You can see me standing in the white clothes. He was in excellent condition, and some days later, we hear about his sudden death. You have to know that every militant, everyone supporting the President Traoré, is shocked. We had no explanation for what had happened.
It's Friday prayer, and they gather at the mosque near their headquarters to mourn their friend and pray for his soul.
La démocratie tue.
Democracy kills. Is that democracy?
I ask him if there's room for individual liberty in his revolution for full sovereignty, the freedom to love who one wants, to express oneself freely, to oppose his rule.
There's freedom. Everyone is free to say what they want, to give their opinion and everything, even on our TV channels.
As he speaks, I'm unable to respond without a translator.
You see people giving their opinions, but freedom has its limit. For example, we are a country at war. We will not allow anyone to demoralize our troops whilst they are on the battlefield. We will not allow that. We will not allow the local lackeys of imperialism among us to try to sabotage our struggle to bring our country back from the clutches of those imperialists.
Human rights defenders have documented hundreds of enforced disappearances since 2023. And even activists who've fled are afraid to speak up online because of the risk of their family members here being targeted. Burkina Faso's most prominent voices are now the loved musicians that keep morale high in these times of uncertainty. We meet top musician Des Altino to see how artists are navigating the terrain.
In my music, I can say whatever I want. I've sung a lot for the country. I don't know about the other artists, but personally, I'm enjoying my freedom of speech. I can express myself through my songs, and that is what really matters to me.
These nighttime gatherings are a sign of the perceived stability that pervades Ouagadougou, a pocket of safety in a country grappling with spreading terrorism, fought by a military that is ushering in an era of dictatorship. Every moment that people can come together is relished, and every moment of pure expression in music and in life is rejoiced. Yusra El Bagher, Sky News, Ouagadougou.